Behind Dutch Headlines, the who, why, and how of politics and media in the lowlands.
Hi, it's me, Greg Shapiro. Here's what you need to know to join the Dutch conversation. This week, tax shortfall in the Netherlands reaches 8.3 billion. Is the economic crisis becoming a political crisis? Specifically, D. Bloom versus Marky Mark. And is there life after Eurovision? Oh, there is if your name is the Toppers. Our top headline, tax shortfall in the Netherlands reaches 8.3 billion euros. What's behind the headline? Well, a big question. Who's really running the show in this country? The announcement was made not by Prime Minister Mark Rutte, but by Finance Minister Jeroen Dijsselbloem from the Labour Party. It amounts to basically an anti-austerity I told you so. In the long-running debate between stimulus versus austerity, you've had the Labour Party arguing that the more we cut the budget, the less we're going to have corporate tax, sales tax, income tax, among others. This prediction has now basically become 100% true, according to Labour Party's Jeroen Dijsselbloem. What is the response from the Prime Minister, Mark Rutte? So far, not much, leading to the question, who's running the show here? And more importantly, what's our next move? Clearly, the Netherlands needs some leadership. Who will provide it? Well, let's take a look at the boys at the table and their leadership styles. At the head of the table, you've got Mark Rutte, the uber optimist. If you ask them, they will spend. And then at the other side, you've got from the Labour Party, Jeroen Dijsselbloem, the finance minister, saying, you're doing it wrong. I would explain why, but I'm late for my Eurogroup chairman meeting in Brussels. And in the middle, you've got Lodewijk Asscher, also from the Labour Party, the vice prime minister, whose job is like mom, dad, don't fight at the table. He's Mr. Poldermodel. We'll take everything and put it on the table and just water it down so that it all becomes weak coffee. Clearly, these different management styles are just not gelling. It's like boys fighting at the table. What are we missing? There's no one message. Maybe we need some females. Bring some women to the party. We've got strong female leadership. There's one woman who clearly has a lot of time on her hands lately. And there's also strong female leadership from the Dutch side in Brussels. Guys, you'd better get on message pretty quickly. Otherwise, mama's gonna get angry. And finally, the choice of Holland will be back next week. But on a lighter note, perhaps the lightest note possible, internationals, a Dutch word that you should all know, topper. And specifically the question, how could these guys possibly fill up the Amsterdam Arena with their concert last week? Well, the Toppers started out in 2005, technically as a joke. It was two gay singers and René Vroger, and they went on to try to export this specific Dutch singing style to the Eurovision Song Contest. They didn't do very well. Didn't help that they were in Russia at the time. Since then, Gordon has left to go do other things where he's hosting this and that, and you never know what he was famous for in the first place, but fine. They even had a contest to figure out who would be the extra topper, and somehow they still remain super popular and important to know. So if you ever want to go slumming with, let's call it, low culture, you can't do better than the Toppers. That's all for this week. If you want more, there is a lengthy podcast with all of the juicy details. You can find it via our Facebook page, Behind Dutch Headlines. And until next week, I'm Greg Shapiro. Thank you very Dutch.
Behind Dutch Headlines.